Dave knows how.
Welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be kind of a little bit different. The same, but different. This is the first time something like this has actually happened to me. And so I kind of, wanted to share it with you guys. I was a little excited about it, maybe. I don't know. I think it's going to be a fun project, and it is tractor related. Now, many of you may have seen my video where I built this little gizmo to blow out my radiator and clean the hydrostatic drive cooler on the front of the Kubota tractor. And I built this thing so that I could hook it to air and blow out the dry stuff, and then I could stick this adapter on here and hook it to the garden hose, and I could shoot water through there and get up there and clean the radiator. Well, this video's been on, I don't know for how long, but it's been online for a little while, and I'll put a link in the description below so that you can go and look at that video if you want to, and you can get an idea of the process that it took to build this from different materials, all of which I pretty much had to purchase. There may have been one or two items that I had laying around, but pretty much I had to purchase everything that's here. So you can kind of get an idea of what it took to make one of these myself. Well, the video hadn't had a whole lot of views, but it's had a few views. And last week I was contacted by the folks over here that make a product that is very, very similar to this product. And it's called the Radiator Genie. And I'll put a link in the description below to their website. It's theradiatorgenie.com, and they're basically, the name of their place is actually Tools That Work, and they make a lot of other tools. I think they started out by making the Radiator Genie and went on to make other tools as well. So there's a lot of good stuff on their website. There's a couple of different tools on their website that I actually went over there and looked at, and they're pretty cool tools. Anyway, the nice folks over there, they came across my video on YouTube and looked at it, and they sent me an email and asked me if I would be interested in looking at their product and just seeing how their product compared to the product that I built myself here, and make a video about it so that you guys can see what the differences would be from one that you could build, or the one that I built, and the one that you can purchase for actually a pretty good price. So anyway, I sent them an email back, and I said, sure, I'd love to take a look at it, So they shipped me one out to take a look at. It just came. We're going to open it up right here and see what's in there. Okay, I think that's everything. All right, so here it is. So the way theirs is made, it's actually two different tools. One for air and one for water. And that's interesting. let's see. It's got a little hold down clip right here that'll keep that latch down. Anyhow, we're going to test these out, and we're going to see what I think of them. And you know, I'm not affiliated with this company. They're not paying me to do this. If you follow the link in the description below, there's no discount. I don't get any kickback if somebody follows the link or if they don't follow the link. So, it's not one of those things. So I'm interested to see how it's going to work, and if I like these better than the one that I built. And if I do like the one I built better, then I'm going to tell you why. And if I don't, then I'm going to tell you why. And we'll just kind of go from there. So let's see. Have they got instructions? I got a lot of pamphlets in here. It doesn't look like much instructions here, but let's see. I mean, it's pretty much a no-brainer how to use this thing. So let's get over here to the tractor and put this thing together and test it out so that you guys can see and I can see, what it's all about. All right, let's move over to the tractor and check it out. Okay, so we're over here at the tractor, and the first thing I'd like to take a look at is the one that hooks to the air. And it feels pretty good in my hand. The trigger is a pretty nice trigger. The trigger that was on mine was basically it was a thumb trigger. I mean, it was just like an air compressor blowgun if you ever use one of these. This one feels more like a garden hose. It's got right much pressure, a considerable amount of pressure. And probably more pressure than mine. Let's put mine on there and let's see how that reacts. Yeah. But mine doesn't have nowhere near the pressure that this one has. Not sure exactly why that is, but it just doesn't feel like it's got as much pressure. A lot of pressure. Let's try it out on the tractor. It's got so much pressure and it uses so much air that the little bitty air compressor I've got hooked to it right now can hardly keep up. That's not the fault of the product. That's the lack of ability of this little bitty air compressor. When I say little, it's tiny. It's the tiniest air compressor that I've ever owned. I've got a large air compressor around the back, but it broke down, and so I'm not able to use that, which is not really fair to the product. But I think you could see the amount of pressure this thing has. It's got a lot of pressure on it. The way the end is crimped down, I'll see if I can get it in here close to the camera. I don't know if it's showing up or not, but it's got a real nice uniform crimp, and it's bent on a 90 right at the very end, and that's pretty nice. It does blow pretty good. But like I said, it uses a lot of air. It drained that small tank really fast, really fast. Anyway, so that's the blower, And I like the fact that it really moves a lot of air out of it. If you've got the right air compressor, then you can definitely move a lot of debris out of your radiator and that type of thing. Try to stick it in here and blow through the radiator. Yeah, it blows through pretty good. It moves a lot of air. A lot of air and fast. I wish my air compressor could keep up. Let's pull this air breather on the tractor out of the way, loosen up this bottom screw, pull this up, move it back here, and we'll go ahead and pull the screen out. And as you can see, that screen is pretty nasty. We'll let this air compressor pump up, and then we'll blow this screen out. You can see this screen is pretty nasty. I didn't clean it out since I went and bush hogged a little bit, but let's give it a shot of air and see what it does. Definitely moves a lot of air. And as you can see, it used up all the air from the air compressor. And this air compressor is very small, okay? So if you've got the right size air compressor and it can put out the right amount of air, this will work really nice. One of the things that I was curious about with this product is you'll notice that mine is bent, and I bent it like this on purpose so that I could get in behind the radiator shroud and get all the way to the other side. And I'm curious if this will bend. So I'm going to try to bend it right here on camera, and we're going to see if I destroy it or if I can actually form it like I did that one so that I can get a little bit better reach out of it. So we're just going to stick it down here, and hopefully, well, it doesn't look like it's showing up on the camera, so we'll go ahead and tilt the camera down just a little bit and hold it down here, and we'll put it against my knee, and we'll just try to form this thing a little bit just to see if, and yes, we can. That is awesome, because this is the one thing about this product that was concerning me, was if I was going to be able to form this thing like this. And that really makes me feel better about this product. It really does. Being able to form the product in the shape that I need it in, that is worth a lot to me. And that, when I first looked at this product online after they sent me the email, I thought to myself, I'll bet you that thing's so stiff you can't form it. But you know what? There's the proof. The proof is in the pudding, and you can form it. So now we should be able to get in here behind the radiator and blow. Let's go around the other side, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Okay, hopefully this is going to show up on video, but I need to get in here behind this to blow this out. And I need to get, you know, all the way over to the other side. And as you can see, with that curve on there, I can do that. I can get all the way in there. And the dust is really flying out. So as you can see, I was able to bend this enough to get it in there around the radiator shroud and blow a lot of dust out of that radiator. So I'm actually impressed with this. The downside, you need a decent air compressor, okay? This air compressor that I've got this thing running on, it's a dinky, tiny air compressor. I knew there was no way it was going to keep up with this. So even an air compressor one size larger than that one would be a better fit, but it is what it is. The other thing that I thought about was leaks, and it doesn't seem to have any leaks. Let's move on to the hose. That's what I'm anxious to see, because the water is the part that I use the most. And of course, I forgot to turn the water on. So let me run over here and turn the water on, and then we'll try it out. Okay, so let's try it out and see if, without bending it, okay, it's straight, we're gonna stick it in here and see just how far we can get it in there. And not quite can get it. We can get it about halfway across, which isn't bad. You know, halfway across isn't bad. But let's go ahead and see if we can bend this one and form it in a shape that, you know, will help us the best. So we're going to get down here on the very end and just kind of bend this thing on around just a little bit. Maybe about that much might do it. And then we'll come on back over here and we'll stick it back in the radiator and see. Oh yeah, now we're getting all the way to the other side. Okay, let's move this camera around. And now that we've got the camera moved around, you can see now that we're able, since we bent this thing, we can go all the way across this radiator. And this is what I was looking for. Okay, and it does it. It does a great job, actually, getting around this shroud. I mean, we are almost all the way to the bottom. Woo! Coming in from one side. It got a little wet, but hey, it feels good because it's hot out here. Oh, man. So we'll come on around this side and wash out this battery box. I'm going to stick it in on this side. You go all the way down to this bottom corner, and we're able to reach all the way down in that bottom corner with this thing since we've bent it. We're getting a lot of stuff out of there. A lot of stuff. Man, that thing it's really getting a lot of stuff out of here. I'm going to try to relocate the camera again. All right, I got the camera jammed up in there now, and I'm hoping that you'll be able to see just how far down. And we could actually pull this side cover off the Kubota and get down in there a little bit deeper. But just from coming in through this one access point, we're able to get all the way down in the bottom of this radiator and wash this thing out. Over halfway back to this side and up. I'm digging it, man. I'm liking this thing. I really am. I think that this company did a great job of putting this thing together and coming up with something that actually works. This is something that I've been needing to do. Like I said, I didn't after that last bush hog job I did, which has been a while, because I hadn't been on a tractor much of any. Wow, that thing did a great job. There's a lot of pressure coming out of there. A lot more pressure than what I thought it would have. All right, and we'll go ahead and wash this off too. And you can see this thing has got a lot of pressure. Okay, let's get the air one back out. And that thing uses a lot of air. I wish that compressor could keep up. Ugh. A lot of pressure. I like it, man. This thing really puts out a lot of pressure. Woo, it's hot, man. It's hot out here, and this feels great. Great day in the morning. A lot of pressure coming out of here. Woo! A welcome drop in temperature right there. So, I think this company's on to something, okay? I'm actually surprised. I don't have any leaks, okay? Unlike mine, and well, I'd have to go over there and turn the water off to show you, but when I hook the water to mine, it does drip a little bit. And this thing has yet to drip any water out of it. And I'm surprised about that. I'm very pleased with being able to bend this thing and form it in the shape that I need it in for my particular piece of equipment, because that was, you know, what I thought when they said they was going to send in. I was like, oh Lord, you know, they're going to want me to give a good review, of course, and I'm not going to just you know, hand them a good review. And I had in my mind that this was going to be the thing about it that I hated. And the only thing that I dislike about the product is that my air compressor can't keep up with it. But that's not the fault of the product. That's the fault of the air compressor and having too small an air compressor. That doesn't mean that you need a gigantic air compressor to operate this thing. In fact, I'll go over here and I'll get this little bitty air compressor and I'll show it to you, and that way you'll have an idea of what, when I say small, I mean small. So hold on right there. Let me run over here and get it and I'll show it to you. Okay, so as you can see, this is a Task Force very tiny air compressor. I actually bought this air compressor from my dad. He didn't really require a whole lot of air with what he was doing. He was mainly using it with a small blower like this one. But even with this one, it runs out of air fairly quick. Not quite as quick as with that, but you could also see with this one, it doesn't move the volume of air out of it as much as that one did. Now with all that said, to be perfectly honest with you, I never really used this with air as much as I did with water. Typically, I didn't blow the thing out with air before I washed it with water. I would just, if I was here at the house and I needed to blow it out, then I could hook the air to it and I could blow it out a little bit and get some of the big stuff out of there. And either use this to blow it, or I'd use the backpack blower to blow it out. But if I was out in the field somewhere, I didn't have an air compressor, you know, and I didn't have water. So I couldn't use either one. So I ended up using a backpack blower and just blowing the bulk of it out of there so that I could continue on with bush hogging or cutting the grass or whatever the case may be until I could get home, and then I would hook this up to the hose and wash it out. When this is hooked to the hose, it puts out fairly good, but nowhere near as good as this product. So I'm impressed with the product. If you go back and look at my video about building this, and you weigh out the amount of money that I spent buying the parts to make this, okay, going to get the parts to make this, and most of these parts I got at Harbor Freight. I got them pretty cheap, but I drove down to the Harbor Freight and got them, brought them home. I had to machine part of it on the lathe, if I remember correctly, solder it together. So it was a lot of, you know, it was a lot of stuff involved in making this, as opposed to just buying one of these. And for the amount of money that they're selling these for, it's kind of like a no-brainer. You'd be better off to just buy one from these folks. So anyway, like I said, I'm gonna put a link to the website in the description below. You can go over there and check it out for yourself. I'm actually impressed, and I'm not so sure that I'm going to ship this thing back. I may just have to hang on to this thing. So anyway, appreciate you guys watching. I hope you found the video interesting, and stay tuned for more videos coming up very soon.
Don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.